6. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
And just like mic check, just like my brother just said, this is West 6, and we're calling for justice for not just my big brother Tyrone West, but police terrorism, murder, just everything. And tonight, we don't have any special. Just me, the coalition. I had a long, stressful day. Burying another family. Just gonna roll. So please stay tuned to the video, and we'll be on shortly after.
Can't stop.
Won't stop.
Won't stop.
Till killer cops.
Or in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, ABDUL SALAAM, July 1st, 2013. Here, SALAAM is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, DARRELL Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my driver?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the driver?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
The profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I want to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses. The N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check, mic check. Thank you, everyone for tuning in. Thank you guys. We've been fighting for a very long time, and again, have any special guests on here tonight. Just got finished going through, and it was just really sad. So of course, my mood is kind of sad right now. We're giving God glory for everything, but it really makes me really sad when I look, and it was Darrell, the last victim. Well, not the last victim, but the victim be murdered 24 hours before my brother was executed. You have Darrell telling someone to call the police on the police, and literally my brother 24 hours later, by this repeat violent offender, he was one of the first killer cops to arrive and start brutally executing my brother. For if you looked at the video, you can see where he's saying something just to pretty much stalk and do what he did to Darrell, and literally, which was pretty much almost 2 weeks before my brother was murdered. Same thing. My brother literally to be driving my Mercedes Benz at the time and shooted. No one deserves to be brutally murdered nor executed for literally for anything. Let's be crystal clear. No one deserves to be brutal. I really feel some type of way. It makes me sad because in life, when you're dealing with so much as we live, it's a time for us to, and it's unfortunately like the pastor that preached my day. We can't pick and choose when that death date is. You can't pay your way out of it, pray your way out of it. It's something that's definitely going to happen. That is why it's our duty to fight for our freedom. But not only that, we literally have nothing to lose but our chains. And I quote that. We have nothing to lose going up against this system that does no one's. And I'm just really sad, and I hope my sister Angela is still in queue. Timothy Flemings was murdered going on almost 2 years ago, and for her family of an autopsy report, it shows me that the system is not going to correctly. In my brother's case, and this was back in 2013, it took them 100. Do you know that felt like 2 years for me and my family? Because we had to without a death certificate, and to sit around and be waiting for literally once they murder your loved one. That's that final examination, autopsy report. And literally for us to have David Fowler, medical examiner's office, to get away with bloody murder, literally can write autopsy reports and get away with it, and we still got to wait for this slow process to go back and really open up and indict these killer cops. Like, literally, not just cases. We need some criminal charges. Anything. So I don't know if you guys still hear me. Anything short of criminal charges is failing us. And this system has failed us enough. Like, so I want to check in real quick just to see if my sister Angela wants to add on to the conversation. Mic check.
Mic check. Can you hear me, sis?
Yes, I can hear you, sis. I definitely can hear you.
Yeah, definitely the West Wednesday Coalition. Yeah, it's crazy that it'll be 2 years come May 16th, and we still don't have an autopsy report for my brothers. And you know, and my brother's kids are still in the same home. And that's horrible. My oldest nephew, horrible time. You know, he's been suspended from school. He had, you know, there's something going where as though they wanted to call the cops on him, and he flipped out, like the cop. And when he flipped out, he literally tore the hallway up, and now they're trying to make Shannon pay, you know, for the damages and stuff. You know, my thing is, if you can not have an autistically challenged child at the school, then you should. That's number one. If you don't think you can handle it, then he should be somewhere where he could be get the learning he needs, and around the same type of people that he is. You try with normal kids, but he's not a normal kid. He have moments where he just flip out. So, you know, for them to threaten to call the police on us, that just flipped the fuse for him. It just set him off, and, you know, for children. And adults should know better. You would think that, but it's like no one cares. The city don't care that they're still in that home. The city, you know, have any help. And it's just ridiculous. I, you know, like I said, I've done a GoFundMe, still have the money for that. You know, the $3,000. I'm gonna try to plan to do another GoFundMe probably around May. I'm not sure when, but it's just sad that those kids are still in that home, and it's sad that, you know, you had to come out of your pocket to do an autopsy report for your Fowler is foul. They know Fowler was foul. They knew he was foul then. They know it now. They need to reimburse you your money, you know, for what you had to take out of your pocket to pay for your brother's autopsy report to have, you know, the autopsy report, because Fowler is foul. You know, just trash. And I'm hoping that your new governor and state's attorney and all of that will city up some. It's going to take a miracle, I know. And it's not city, it's all the cities that, you know, where this violence is. It's Hannah weekly, you know, it used to be like maybe monthly, but now it's like someone's being murdered, and they're just trying to get rid of us one way or the other. The COVID, you know, they keep talking about COVID. COVID numbers are going back up. You just don't know, you know, what to do, where to go with this crazy system in this world right now. I feel like I'm rambling, but, you know, I'm saying all that to say, you know, the city with police brutality and accountability. Donnell Rochester's family, Tyree Moorhead, you know,
yes,
Tawanda Jones, all of
Timothy Flemings, like the list goes on.
Slim, yes, the list goes. The list goes on. So Jamal Taylor. I mean, the list goes on. It's crazy.
Anthony Anderson. It just goes on.
But I'm just hoping they can slow it down, at least. Praying. Our new Governor Westmore, and I don't know your state's attorney's name, but I'm hoping to do better. You gotta do better. When you know better, and I'm sure they know better because they know what they've already inherited. Praying that that your family will get some accountability soon, because everybody, they said it was murder. So why aren't they filing charges? Why, when they already know it was murder?
But we have to have a deep conversation, sis.
It angers me, and on my anger. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been working on my anger.
You've been really good, and I love it.
And and all of that, but it's not going to change the fact that they're not going to change the system. You're not going to be angry. I can change my approach. It still won't change as far as the system, that is. But I think that we get some accountability soon. This is 2023. 10 years too long. 10 years too long. This killer cops that killed Mr. Tyrone West. Mic check.
Mic check, sis. And I definitely agree with you. And it's just sad. And I just really feel like the conversation we need to have really is, I honestly don't feel like nobody's going to do nothing. Because it's like with these politicians, and I call them politicians because they trick us into getting their vote. They need the people to get them in office, and they use all this nice conversation, and this is what I'm going to do. And all we have literally is hope. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. All we have is hope. All we have is faith, things of that nature. But I said all this to say, it's like before they get in office, they there for the people. They getting our votes. They people. But then as soon as they get in office, it's like they don't work for us anymore. It's like they're there for a dollar bill. And the saddest part is like history is repeating itself over and over again. And these killer cops, they're the biggest legalized gang in America. Like, they get pay raises. They get qualified immunity to go and kill our loved ones in our community. They get that. Like, they're not here to watch over us. And I really feel sorry for the one or two good cops that say, hey, I want to take this job. I want to be sworn in to do what I got to do for my community, get back type of thing, make sure things are safe. I feel sorry for those few. I really honestly do.
Because
I honestly do. I honestly do, but
getting away.
I'm sorry, what you say, sis?
I'm sorry, sis. I said, they'll kill them too if they getting away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they'll kill anybody who getting away, and they'll kill anybody who won't move out of their way. And it's just sad. Now, and I think about, and I'm so glad that you lift up poor Darnell Rochester and Tyree Moorhead, because like, this is sad. Like, literally, they were murdered and nobody's doing nothing about it. Like, you have an 18-year-old baby that should have been graduating from high school with his mother, a scared baby that a killer cop would have jumped in front of the car, make up a lies if we did not see the video, and they get away with murder. They get away with murder, no charges. And it's the same thing over and over again, and it's sickening and it's heartbreaking. And then you have Tyree, who literally was executed. You get what I'm saying? Like, executed. Like, you got somebody that unload 14 bullets in a human person's body, and then you going to go reload. Like, you're going to actually go reload. And I guarantee you that killer cop won't get 1 day, nothing. And then you have somebody, then they always want to say police brutalities over here, community violence. And you had Tyree, who was speaking out for the communities. You know, no shoot zone. He started it. And seeing these people will watch you and they will stalk you in the same way you start your coalitional group. They will bring it back. Like, how ironic it is. His first no shoot zone is where he actually got murdered. Murdered in the worst way. He's saying no shoot zone, no shooting, but he gets gunned down in the first spot that was significant to him. The way as though the first murder that he saw over in that neighborhood, he sprayed paint and said no shoot, went out there, put his body on the line, talked to community people. And I don't care, you know, if we saw different things that some people may not like or agree. Oh, well, that has nothing to do with somebody getting executed and murdered. And that's how this system plays, because it allows us to be petty towards each other, to, like, you know, don't even like reason with reality. The reality of it is, if this would have been a Caucasian fella in a Caucasian community, they would have pulled together and they would have been like, oh my gosh, and something would have been done. They would have had the mayor and Lottie Dottie and everybody marching. If Darnell was Caucasian, if Tyree was Caucasian, and I hate to make things black and white and things of that nature, but it is what it is.
It's the truth.
Literally, it is what it is. And it's sad. And like my brother, literally to get murdered in the worst way, beat to death in broad daylight, over 17 murderers. They did some horrific things to my brother. Horrific. And they get to walk away, and we still got to try to fight, change laws, do this, do that, do everything the right way, when all the injustice was done to our family the wrong way. They want us to still keep on being peaceful, keep on playing along with this dog and pony show. I'm just going to tell you, I'm sick of the dog and pony show. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. You know, like, literally, I felt myself with all the emotions of me, like literally losing one of my family members. We just came up on Tavon Anderson, my cousin Shiki, 2-year commemoration of him being murdered, and my family still ain't no closer to what happened. And my cousin Tavon wasn't a street dude. Anybody knew Tavon knew he was a good man, a family man, just like my brother. And he was out there in the streets fighting for me about my brother, and he get gunned down on a West Wednesday morning, and we not making a connection. We just sitting back, letting time go by. I'm just over the dog and pony show. And then when you go out and then you talk and you want to, you know, tell people, they don't want to believe you. They want to hear what they want to hear. I'm sick of it. Like, after a while, we're going to get tired of talking. I'm be honest, and I'm not a violent person. I'm not condoning any violence. I'm not saying none of that's the answer. But I do know, at the end of the day, something needs to be done, and it needs to be done right now. Too many people are dying, and I'm just sick of, at the end of the year, when someone is murdered, it's just added on to a list. Statistics. These are people, loved ones. These are people, babies, family members. And literally, like, for my aunt to literally pass away in her sleep. Thank God, you know, but I'm looking at the, you know, like, a lot of people are losing their loved ones that are literally laying down, just dying. What is going on? Like, it doesn't even matter if you have a health issue. Doesn't matter anything. Like, what is going on? And that's what I want to talk about. So, sis, I'm just want to ask you that real quick. What you think is going on?
I don't even know, sis. Did we lose her? Mike, chat. What's going on in this world anymore?
Mike, chat.
Mike, chat.
Everything is just, I'm not even sure what's going on in this world anymore, sis. Everything is just crazy.
It really is. It's like, it's just a lot. But the good part, so I'm going to be peaceful and I'm going to be grateful. The good part is, when you have stick together and love you and be loyal. Loyal people mean the work. The loyal people mean the most to me. It's about being humble. It's about, let's fight this thing together and not fight each other. And it's just like, it's sad that a lot of in your space, no matter if you work with them them on the job force or just befriend them as a whatever, and they betray you. That's the worst kind of betrayal. But in life, we have to, it's a part of life. You know, it's a part of life that we can't turn off. We can't predict, don't even see it happening, because people laugh and smile in your face and have the biggest knife in your face. And it's very hurtful, especially if you're humble and you love people the way I just was looking like at my life, like all this week with dealing with losing my, dealing with my aunt, you know, passing away, and just so much. It just make you sad, and it make you really appreciate people that really love you, that really, just a word you say, love is an action. You know, love is everything to me. You love somebody, but if you don't show it, what do you love? You know. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I just love the way you guys just literally, and I have y'all guys, y'all back as well. You know, like literally when and I had to rush out to the ER, you guys stepped in, and that meant the world, meant things to me, the world to me. And those are the things that we'll remember. Like everybody, I said, oh, don't know when our final day, our final second, we don't know that if you're blessed to see the next day or the next second, now to live through it, to be honest, even if you don't make it to tomorrow, to actually go through a day as hard as times, remember, love sets you free. Just being humble, just being there to criticize somebody, because guess what, life beats us up enough. We don't need is at us, you know, just sometimes just being that listening ear. So I just want to let you guys, in death, even in death, dealing with losing one of your family members or anything, take your love away from them. Nothing can take your memories away. Nothing can take that. And the only way our loved ones really completely die is when we let their memories go. When that's the whole purpose of West Wednesday, is uplifting not just my big brother, all the victims of police brutality, and all the victims, whether they died from community brutality. I always say it's the highway of hell. It's the same thing. You're leading up to this highway of hell, which is symbolic to this system, when we know, unfortunately, there really is no justice. It's just us trying. And at the end of the day, who is being really held accountable? Like, nobody's being. That's sad. So I just want to check in real quick again, sis, to see add or say before we see if someone's available, because I think this is the week where Marcella said he's going to be stuck at work this week and he's not going to get the questions. I don't know if anybody else in the coalition have access to read the questions on the call. I want to check in with you, sis, before I check in to see who wants to read the questions or the chat.
Mic check. No, sis, I'm good. I don't really want to say anything else other than, you know, the politicians, they remind me of us, you know, how the little boys will whisper those little sweet nothings in your ear to you know, get what they want. Politicians do.
Exactly.
They don't whisper those sweet nothings, those little sweet nothings in our ears until they get in our ear. That's it. Mic check.
Mic check. I love how you broke that down, sister. I love it. Check. So I want to check in. Brother Ben, do we have somebody to read for tonight in comments? Mic
check. You're right. Marcellus is not available. I'm going to see if I can go through some of the comments that I see. Stand by. All right. Hillary, Bruce, AC, and Smiley all say mic check. Elaine Simon says, in solidarity from all the way from Washington State. She says, justice for Tyrone's, justice for Jesse Saray. AC Britt says, please like and subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already, if you're tuning in. Smiley says, sending love to your family at this time. AC Britt says, shame on that medical examiner. They're stuck in a cycle of trauma being in that house. The city is not providing services that these children deserve. They shouldn't be allowed to threaten and call the police on him. That's a trigger, a major trigger. Hillary says, yes, Angela, adults and educators should know better. The city should know better. Bill says, it angers me too, Angela. They're not just filing charges against most killer cops. The politricksters make it possible for the biggest gang in the U.S. to continue with about 1,100 killings per year and a very tiny number of prosecutions against those murderers. AC Britt says, the AG felt that they weren't in danger when they killed Donnell. Bates opted not to charge. If this case stayed in the AG's jurisdiction, they would have been charged. Jewett Adachi is tuning in. He says, Tawanda makes a good point. How ironic is it that politicians stop working for the people when they get into office? That's when they're supposed to start working for the people. Bill says, right, Judah. Smiley says, Donnell Rochester's rally is this Thursday, tomorrow, January 26th at 4 p.m. And let me get the location. We have the location in our chat. The location is 120 East Baltimore Street. That's tomorrow, 4 o'clock at 120 East Baltimore Street. We're calling everybody who is capable to come out and make some noise for Donnell Rochester. Hillary says, yes, the racism in policing is real and wrong on so many levels. It needs to continue to be called out by us. Smiley says, the people are already really tired and starting to rise up out of the pain. And Bill agrees with Smiley. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yes. And I wanted to say something. First of all, Ben, thank you for not only putting this together to do another task of, working so hard for the West Coalition. I really wanted to speak upon what my sister said about starting in a call of police on a child that actually saw their parent was murdered by police. That is like the worst, scariest nightmare. Because I look at my poor babies in my class, like if they're reading a story of the big bad wolf and the three little pigs, some of them be clenched up. And imagine that a child lives through and knows that a police was called to my home, the home that I'm trapped. My dad was killed, and then you threaten whoever did that. They need to go to jail. That's sick and that's sad and that's twisted. That's almost molested. God forbid. And you say I'm gonna call a molester to come to you. Like that is sick. That's sick and it's twisted. And I'm so sorry that your family is going through this nightmare that no one ever signed. Like I'm so sorry. My heart goes out, sis. I'm so sorry. And I wish sorry was enough to knock you out. But I'm telling you, if I ever make it big, trust me, if I had the money, I literally hit you up through Cash App or however, meet up with you, however, and say, get them kids out that house. That'd be the first thing I do. It's just sad. It's sick. Sorry.
I appreciate it.
It makes me like cringe up every time I hear you say that y'all ain't got no autopsy report. Like, really?
Yeah.
And then I'm so and not to be scrambled, but I'm sorry that I can't be there to support Darnell Ryman out there. I'm definitely gonna be there in spirit. I wish that I was off work and on time, but it's sad now that, and when I see people take a stance that my family, I wouldn't wish this night nightmare on anybody. But this is what kept me, my loved ones alive, because us not holding all this hurt and building a platform and seeing where we're not alone in this, and that other people to advocate to where so this won't happen to somebody else's family. It's just sad, but yeah, I definitely want to say I love you. Just keep on doing what you're doing. There comes a time when everybody has their judgment. Then I don't care what you think that may be, but everybody has a day where they're going to be held accountable. Whether it happens here or in the afterlife, right. Everybody has their day, and I don't wish bad on how these animals sleep at night knowing that they murdered. So lay up, be up under their family, enjoy the holidays, enjoy spending time with their loved one, and you sitting up there and you murder somebody in the worst way home, and you murder them. You pull somebody over at the traffic stop and you murder them. You car that a young teenagers driving and you murder them. Like the list goes twisted. But I just want to let you guys know that we don't just fight for police accountability. We fight for accountability period, whether it's community. However, our heart goes out. And unfortunately, tonight, one is really long, and I don't know how long the violence is, but I do know that the police brutality off the hook, like 37 names. And even though some of them names you're not even going to do is they'll leave your loved one as a John Doe. They did that to Tyrone West, identification on him. They do that to borrow time. And that's why we make it our point. I'm not to lift the killer cops up, but to lift the loved ones up. And we say cell blocks for killer, and we say Ashe. So I just want to let you guys know. Started off with saying, I literally left my auntie's funeral. That even if somebody's not murdered, seeing her daughter at the casket crying, just seeing so much sadness, hearing my uncle preach, like whole emotions tore me up. And the worst thing is when you see your loved one, if they actually shut that casket up, and that's the last time you're going to see them on earth. Well, even if you had voted, this is the last time I'm going to see my loved one. That is so heartbreaking. And when you hear these names tonight, don't take it for granted. That's just a name. That's not my family. Whatever. Please, I'm asking you. I'm begging you. Literally, say a prayer. And not only faith and works is absolutely nothing. So see what you can do as a human being to sing out so nobody's getting these calls or seeing their loved ones murdered.
Mic check. I think Tawanda is frozen.
Yeah, I think Tawanda's phone may have frozen. I see that Nicole is in the queue. Nicole, if you want me to bring you on and to say anything, just nod your head. Welcome, Nicole.
Good evening, everybody. I just kind of want to piggyback off what my queens said or whatever. I really wish that I had the finances, because you know what I would do? I would buy us our own news station so that the truth can be said without being cut up and them putting on there what they want to put on there and really not taking what we're going through and what we say seriously. My queen Tawanda was on Channel 13 and Channel 11 News a couple of weeks ago. And out of everything she said, out of all the pleading that her and Angela and myself did, the only thing that was said was, we need help. No, no. We need more than help. We need our voices to be heard. We need people to know that this is not a game. This is people, loved ones. This is people dying. This is people being afraid to even go to the trash can for the fear that one of those monsters might walk up to one of us. And because you're having a bad day, you take that out on us. Do we really deserve to live in this much fear? These police officers are bullies. Half of them were bullied when they were in school. This is the first time they had a little piece of authority and they run with it. But that does not mean that because you have this piece of authority that you take it out on us. Because at the end of the day, we pay y'all salary. And I am sick and tired of giving my people's money to y'all to allow y'all to take our lives. It's like I'm paying you to kill me. And something needs to be done. It needs to be pay cuts. It needs to be these police officers not only fired, not getting a slap on the hand or a pay cut. Y'all need to go to prison. Y'all need to see how it feels to be without the luxuries of life. Although you are being a cage, you won't be able to be with your loved ones, just like we can't be with our loved ones. Although you are still alive, you still need to be held accountable for the things that you do. You need to feel some kind of pain like we feel on a daily basis. Every week that I can be here, I'm here fighting with my queens. And I'm going to continue to fight with my queens until this is changed. And I'm going to tell you something. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and the list goes on and on. We wouldn't even be where we are now if it wasn't for these people. If it wasn't for the first slave who decided to stand up and say, I can't take it no more, we wouldn't be where we are. So we need to stand up and stand firm and stop being afraid to speak out. We're not all we got. We're not all we need. We need everybody to come forth and say, enough is enough. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And I didn't even realize you were on, but thank you so much for sharing. And again, my heart goes out to deserves to bury their beautiful daughter or their father-in-law. So my heart goes, we always uplifting your daughter's name as well as your father-in-law's name. So lawful words. So at this moment, I'm going to ask everybody to take 1 minute. The time now 3. Let's take 1 minute to say a prayer or send positive energy. Just remember, these are more than names. These are someone's loved one. Thank you guys so much right now. Mic check.
Mic check. I'm going to read the list of community violence. We usually start off with that. Once again, these are people in Baltimore who have died violently over the past week, and we lift them up because one violent death is too much, and the
So we reach out to our community. We try and strengthen our community, and in that way we can bring down police violence as well as every other form of violence. So I'll read these names out, and if you could echo them back to me, that would be our way of standing in solidarity with these people and their loved ones. Yusuf Muhammad, 32.
Yusuf Muhammad, 32.
Deshaun Anderson, 31.
Deshaun Anderson, 31.
Cameron Bullock, 30.
Cameron
Bullock,
30.
Carl Gilmore, 37.
Carl Gilmore, 37.
Dion Brandon, 19.
Dion Brandon, 19.
Dante Stansberry, 27.
Dante Stansberry,
27.
Ivan Earl Williams Jr., 25.
Ivan
Earl
Jr.
Jr.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right, the floor is all yours. Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, I hope that the tribute for your aunt today was a fitting and powerful tribute. Very sorry about your loss. The deaths caused by the police in the recent period that I'll be upholding today number 38 people killed over a 2-week period around the country from January the 11th to January the 24th. Because it's such a long list, we're not going to read the names. Well, we don't have the names for about half of them. 17 people have not yet been named. And for them, we're going to say something as a group at the end. So I'll just read the names of those victims of police brutality and murder for whom we do have the names as of now. First, killed by police in Columbia, Missouri on January the 11th, 28 years old, Jordan Pruin.
Jordan
Pruin.
Also on the 11th, killed in Valencia, California, 50 years old, unarmed, and many of these people may be unarmed, I'm not sure, but they happen to mention it in his case. Christopher Mercurio.
Christopher
Mercurio.
Thank you, everyone. In Charleston, West Virginia, once more on the 11th, 43 years old, killed by police, William Henry.
William
Henry.
So I have to skip here where we don't have a name. On January the 13th, in Lamar County, Alabama, 24 years old, Devin Cribbs.
Devin Cribbs.
Quite a few whose names have not been released. Next person who has been named, killed by police in Washington Township, Pennsylvania on January the 17th, 47 years old, Frederick Fonner.
Frederick Fonner.
Again on the 17th, killed by police in El Cajon, California, 77 years old, Frank Brower.
Frank Brower.
On the next day in Liberty Hill, Texas, 21 years old, killed by police, Jackson Lieber. On the same day, that's January the 18th, in Atlanta, Georgia, 26 years old, killed by police, Manuel TYRONE.
TYRONE.
Once more on January the 18th, in Wentzville, Missouri, 37 years old, Sonny Vincent.
Sonny
Vincent.
Sonny Vincent.
Again on January the 18th in Chipley, Florida, 44 years old, killed by police, Sean Pierce.
Sean Pierce.
On January the 20th in San Diego, California, 37 years old, killed by police, Christopher Dearman.
Christopher Dearman.
Christopher Dearman.
Again on the 20th, this time in Evansville, Indiana, 25 years old, killed by police, Ronald Mosley II.
Ronald Mosley II.
Ronald Mosley II.
And yet again on the 20th of January in Jacksonville, Florida, 39 years old, Leon Burrows.
Leon Burrows.
Yet again on the 20th in Claremont, Florida, 69 years old, killed by police, Donald Brady.
Donald Brady.
On the 21st in Wellington, Kansas, 30 years old, killed by police, Harley Bagby.
Harley Bagby.
On the 22nd in Deptford Township, New Jersey, 55 years old, killed by police, Daniel Nevius Sr.
Daniel Nevius Sr.
On the 22nd in Cuero, I think it's Cuero, Texas, 44 years old, killed by police, Patrick Boatwright.
Patrick Boatwright.
January the 23rd in Dodge City, Kansas, 39 years old, killed by police, Leroy Malone.
Leroy Malone.
Again on the 23rd in Meridian, Idaho, 32 years old, killed by police, Eli Nash.
Eli Nash.
Yet again on the 23rd in Salem, Oregon, 27 years old, killed by police, Michael Compton.
Michael Compton.
On the 24th in Sugar Valley, Georgia, 51 years old, killed by police, Billy Couch.
Billy Couch.
Billy Couch.
And we've now upheld all of those victims of police murder for whom we know the names. For the 17 others, we would like to uphold and honor them as well. So if someone could tell us that phrase. I'll say it. Killer cops in cell blocks. Ashe.
Ashe.
Killer cops in cell blocks. Ashe.
And once again, Ashe. Means
Ashe.
let it be so. Let it be so. Tawana, back to you. Good night, everyone. And I'm sorry that I had to bring so much tragedy, but this is the world we live in. Good night.
Good night, Uncle Bill. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Ben. Thank you, my sister Angela. Thank you, my sister Nicole. And thank you guys for tuning in. And as we brought you with that unfortunate video that we need to plan statistically and find out like what we're going to really do and push up to make sure Ruiz is not just fired, but in a cell block. Because he's a repeat violent offender. And he's a sergeant now. He could easily come in contact with you and lose it again, and your life could be ended. So please continue on watching the video. Please continue on following us, and we will see you guys next week. Remember, live to love, love to live. I love you all. Cell blocks for killer cops. Mic check.
Check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. SALAAM begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, ADIENA BRITT and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is ADIENA BRITT, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5. Unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the SALAAM vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, ABDUL SALAAM, and my sister ADIENA and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.